As a nation, what are we? Are we one nation? Do we truly care about each other? Do we share with each other? Do we work together to form a more perfect union? In our history as a nation of 239 years, we've been at war for 222 of them. That's 93% of our history as a country. But have you ever been affected by war? There were times in our history that we experienced war on a nationwide scale. Even when it wasn't at our doorstep, we rationed together. We sacrificed together. We cried at our defeats, and we celebrated our victories. Most importantly, we helped heal our warriors as a nation. Our indigenous people still hold true to the same ideal of a nation that fights together, sacrifices together, and heals together, as do many people outside the westernized world. We become disconnected from each other. As a society, we found ourselves with two separate classes of citizens. The civilian whose discourse towards each other and towards their own government have them growing ever more divisive. And the service member, our warrior society, that we idolize and celebrate their violent nature, but at the same time condemn them for it. We no longer welcome home our warfighters with open arms and value their leadership skills that they've developed. Leadership skills that make them some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the country. While war still makes for big box office draws, we play our fantasies out in video games of being them, when 99% of the population never had the courage to attempt to be a warfighter. Our wounded warriors are left medicated or inebriated, with stories no one really cares to hear, and a deep desire to return to life with some semblance of normalcy. While most of you watching this will never know what war truly is like, you will always have a chance to welcome back the men and women willing to sacrifice their lives for your ability to remain complacent, to reality, and your privilege to be entitled. Value your warfighter. Hire them. Show them America does care about them, even though their sacrifices never actually affected you. But when war comes knocking at your doorstep, you will wish you had done more than thank them for their service.
Back to the American home, with welcome and well done everywhere. And what does he want? Most of all, he wants a job. Not a handout, not sympathy, not hero worship. But one of the things he fought for, the thing he returns for, a stake in the American future.
Average age of the young Americans serving in uniform today is 20 and a half years of age, making him about 10 months older than his grandfather, who would have served in my war. He's a high school graduate. He's a volunteer. He is brighter, better educated, better trained, led, and equipped than any soldier, sailor, airman, guardsman, or Marine of any country in history. He goes to work wearing an 8-pound Kevlar helmet, a 45-pound flak jacket, and today in Kandahar, it was 110 degrees, and he'll hike up those hills and walk back down them without complaining. He's been taught chemistry and physics and ballistics and avionics and electronics to operate and maintain the most sophisticated weapons and equipment ever designed by the hand and mind of man. He can use his body like a weapon, and his weapon like part of his body. And he can take a life or save one because he has been so remarkably well trained.
I know someone who has died in combat.
Yeah, I know a lot of, not like tons of people, but a dozen or so people. But my closest friend who was killed was his name was Chris Domay, and he had a wife and kids. It was pretty sad.
I've deployed 7 times now, and I'm scheduled to go back out in March for my 8th back to Afghanistan. But I think there was probably 1 or 2 deployments where we didn't lose someone. So.
I don't know if it's appropriate. What taps into your courage to keep going back in the face of losing these guys?
Yeah, it's for me, it's not only just a job. When I say job, I think of family. I think of putting food on the table, roof over the head of my family, and then second to that, or pretty much tied for first, is the guys next to you. You know, I went to high school out here in LA and really didn't have a future in college or anything, and we grew up poor and homeless at some points. But joined the military, wanted to serve my country and really just have something stable. And as it evolved, now it's like this big family you're part of, and you're part of something that's bigger. And I don't mind deploying because I know I'm with family.
I think I'm blessed that I don't know anybody who's died in combat. So, I mean, yeah, I don't understand what you guys have been through, but I applaud you, all of you guys, for, like you said, putting food on the table. Because in my head, I was like, there's so many jobs out there. Why this one?
When you're a soldier, you're making a sacrifice. So thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think as Americans we appreciate anybody who makes a significant sacrifice. It's kind of the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
No kidding.
We're done? So this exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for your.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I so respect what you're doing.
Man, that was very affirming.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I definitely.